MJ, and Tiki. Tiki and I were just admiring all these pumpkins that we've got around the ship getting ready for Halloween. The fun thing about a pumpkin, there are so many of them that they come in different shapes and sizes. Wouldn't it be neat if you could talk to pumpkins and maybe hear what they were thinking? Maybe he wants to be painted instead of carved. Well, this week on our adventure, we were sent a very fun book from a friend of ours. His name is Derek Dextraze, and he wrote a book called The Pumpkin Wizard. He actually has a whole series of these books. They've got a very good message about anti-bullying in them, and if you want, check the links below for more information on how to purchase a copy for yourself. Anyways, we thought it would be very fun to read a copy of this book for you, or to you. Well, let's get right into it, shall we? The Pumpkin Wizard. A few days before Halloween, Tom and his friends, Derek, Caitlin, and Dustin, were shopping for costumes. As the boys picked out their costumes, Caitlin went into the next aisle to look for a turtle suit. While Tom selected the perfect hat, Derek chose a pro wrestler's costume, and Dustin decided to dress up as a dragon. As the four of them were leaving the store, excited about their recent purchases, Dustin marveled at Derek's pro wrestler suit. "Wow, cool costume," he said. "Aye, it's pretty sweet," Derek agreed. "The only thing is it came with this weird orange belt. Caitlin, do you want this?" Caitlin took the belt from Derek and held it up against her packaged turtle suit. "Yeah, that'll go perfect," she said. Later that night, Tom sat in his room and remembered last Halloween, when his candy was stolen by an older boy named Jeff and his friends. This year, Tom wanted to form a plan to stop Jeff from ever taking his candy again. He called Derek and asked if he wanted to be a part of it. "Do you want to help me stop the 8th graders this year?" Tom asked. "No way," Derek answered. "The older kids are scary and mean." Tom was upset because he really wanted his friends' help. "But I have a plan," Tom insisted. "It won't work," Derek said, and he hung up the phone. The next day, Derek, Caitlin, and Dustin walked to school together. A little ways down the street, they spotted Tom walking towards them. He was wearing his wizard hat. "Are you supposed to be a witch?" Dustin asked him. "No," Tom said. "I'm a wizard." Then, in a low voice so the others couldn't hear him, he added, "A pumpkin wizard." "Isn't it a little early to wear your costume to school?" Caitlin asked. "It's not a costume," Tom replied as he walked away. Bum, bum, bum. It's a very cool wizard not costume, isn't it? That day at school, Tom did not sit with his friends in the classroom or at lunch. Instead, he sat alone in the cafeteria, drawing pictures of pumpkins. "What are you drawing, weirdo?" Tom had been so focused on his work that he hadn't noticed Jeff walking up to him. Jeff snatched the drawings from the table and held them up so everyone in the cafeteria could see. "Look, everyone, Tom is drawing jack-o'-lanterns," Jeff teased, "just like a little baby." "Give them back," Tom cried, as he jumped to his feet and tried to grab his drawings. As Jeff continued to taunt Tom, one of the teachers across the room hollered at him to give Tom his pictures back. It's not a very nice thing to do, is it? That's very bully-ish of him. Not liking this Jeff boy. Jeff reluctantly complied, and Tom, with his drawings in hand, turned and ran from the cafeteria. "I can't wait to eat all your candy again this year," Jeff called after him as Tom sped down the hallway. "That's what you think," Tom thought to himself. On his way home from school that afternoon, Tom noticed that almost every house in his neighborhood had carved pumpkins sitting on their porches. Some of them had really scary faces, he thought. Probably even scary enough to frighten Jeff. Tom ran the rest of the way home, excited to work on his plan. He could now put into action his perfect idea. And it involved the pumpkin wizard plus his scary pumpkins. Ooh. I like scary pumpkins, huh? Tom arrived home and immediately went to work on the rest of his wizard's costume. When he had finished, he returned outside and sat on his front porch, started drawing more pumpkins. To his right, he spotted a lone pumpkin that slowly seemed to be inching its way towards him. "Will you help me with my plan to get back at Jeff and his friends?" Tom asked the pumpkin. The pumpkin said nothing. Tom realized no one was going to help him. Pumpkins can't be alive, can they? He stood up to go inside, but as he turned away, he heard a voice say, "We can help you." Tom whipped back around. "Who said that?" "I did," said the pumpkin. "We would love to help you. Every year, Jeff and his friends kick us over and put out our candles. It'd be nice to teach him a thing or two." The next night was a night of Halloween. As the sun slid slowly towards the horizon and eventually disappeared, the neighborhood kids came out of their houses ready to trick-or-treat. But Tom had no time for that. He was hiding in the bushes, waiting for the 8th graders. His pumpkin friends had surrounded the area and were hiding along both sides of the street. I can't believe he's got actual pumpkin friends. Like magical pumpkins! As Jeff and his gang of bullies approached, Tom and the pumpkins saw Caitlin, Dustin, and Derek walking towards them from the other direction. The three of them were wearing the costumes they had purchased the other day and lugging pumpkin buckets of candy. Jeff noticed them too. "What you doing, kiddies?" he called. "Nothing," Dustin replied. "Keep walking," Caitlin advised. But as they drew closer, Jeff and his friends stepped directly in their path. Jeff stood in front of Dustin and sneered at him. "Doesn't look like nothing," Jeff said. "It looks like you're out trick-or-treating with the rest of the babies." Caitlin tugged on Dustin's arm. "Come on, let's go." "So what if we are?" Derek shot back. "What do you care?" What does he care? If he doesn't want to trick-or-treat, he shouldn't trick-or-treat. Let everybody have fun, I say. "I don't care." Jeff reached out and swiped the bucket of candy from Derek's hand. "I'm just embarrassed for you, that's all." "Hey, give that back," Derek cried. "Or what? Are you going to go cry to your mommy that I took your candy?" Jeff pretended to look around the street. "She must be around here somewhere, right? I mean, she wouldn't let you babies out here all alone, would she?" "Give him the candy back," Dustin demanded. "You guys are so pathetic," Jeff sneered. "Don't you feel silly out here with a bunch of little kids? Speaking of which, where's your little friend?" "Who?" Dustin asked. "Oh, you know who I mean. The other baby that's always out here with you, acting like a bunch of 6-year-olds. The king of babies, Baby Tom." Wow. This boy is very, very mean, and he has some very mean friends that are hanging out with him. At that, Tom jumped up from his hiding place. "I'm right here," he hollered, "and I'm not a baby." With his words, the pumpkins sprang to life. They ran towards the street, coming from all sides, and reached Jeff's friends before the older kids even knew what was happening. The pumpkins encircled the band of 8th graders, all of whom were desperately trying to run. As the pumpkins chased after them, they tossed their lassos toward the bullies, and Tom watched happily as the lassos dropped over their heads and shoulders and tightened. The 8th graders fell to the ground as their pumpkin captors held tight to their lassos. With Jeff's friends out of the way, Tom, Derek, Caitlin, and Dustin surrounded Jeff. Jeff's eyes widened as he and Tom, who were no longer the scared kid from the school cafeteria, came face to face. Without warning, Tom went into a crouch, ducking down low, and one of the pumpkins that had been hiding behind him jumped up and sprang towards Jeff's face. No thank you. I don't need a pumpkin who can talk getting into my face. Blah! The pumpkin belched, and Jeff tried unsuccessfully to turn away as pumpkin seeds and mess flew into his face. He stumbled backwards, trying to flee, but his eyes were shut and he fell to the ground. He dropped Derek's candy as he fell. Tom stepped beside him, reaching down to retrieve Derek's candy. Jeff looked up at him as tears started to form in his eyes. "Who's the baby now?" Tom asked. Caitlin and Dustin looked at each other. "What just happened?" Caitlin asked. "Those were pumpkins," Tom told them, "and I am the pumpkin wizard." With Tom leading the way, the four friends walked down the street, leaving Jeff behind. They passed by houses guarded by glowing jack-o'-lanterns and costumed children, about to embark on their own Halloween adventures. "Come on," Tom said. "Let's go get some more candy, and I'll tell you all about it." Look at that. Blah! To be continued. Because there are other books in the series. Goodness. My, a pumpkin wizard. Imagine having all of that power to talk and control and have friends like the pumpkins. Now, that Jeff boy was not very nice at all. I think he got his just desserts, as they say, though. A very good book. Well, if you enjoyed it, you can check the links below. You can find this book and all of the other Pumpkin Wizard books with the links. You can also check out Captain Jay's books as well while you're at it. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed it. We hope you have a great Halloween, and we will see you next time. Bye! Wow, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video and you want to see more, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Also, don't forget to check out my books, Captain Jay and the Misfit Crew and Captain Jay and the Perfect Pet. Both available on barnesandnoble.com, wordery.com, and amazon.com. We'll see you next time.